All right. Hey, everybody, on the road with Big Al. I thought I'd do something a little different today. I was going to break down. I went on the road from April 13th to I came back on April 21st. I did 3 loads, and I thought I'd break down what exactly I made on each load and the fuel cost on each load. So if you're thinking about getting into this, getting your own authority, kind of give you an idea of what you can make, what the rates are, your fuel costs. You know, there's going to be some other stuff involved in this, like your truck payments, if you have a trailer payments and stuff like that. Later videos, I might get into some of the other costs, but for now, I'll kind of give you an idea of what it costs, what your fuel costs are going to be, and what the rates are going to be. Right now, the rates are running really good. I've been doing this for almost 3 years. Right now, the rates are running as good as I've ever been having to deal with ever since I got into this, which is, you know, good for us, good for the truck drivers. So I'll get into this. You know, kind of when you start off, like I was kind of the reason I'm doing this. When I started off, you know, you're wanting to buy your truck and you're wanting to spend this money, and they won't give you access to these load boards unless you have a DOT number and are able to actually book these loads. A lot of these brokers try to keep these rates, like what they're paying for rates, you know, as secret as they can. So, you know, like for competition, when people are bidding and stuff, you know, if you have people bidding on loads that don't know how much they're going for, they might bid low. And so, like, you know, I think they try to keep the less information out there as they possibly can. They keep some of these people bidding on loads in the dark, so they don't know what's going on. But I'll kind of break it down. The first load I did was through CH at Robinson. I went from McPherson, Kansas to Reno, Nevada. I deadheaded 100 miles. The line haul was 1,487 miles. So total mileage was 1,587 miles. On the trip, I averaged 7.7 miles to the gallon. It was a really light load. I was hauling plumbing supplies. Only weighed about 12,000 pounds. So, you know, the truck I got a Kenworth T680 right now. It can get pretty good mileage, especially if you're hauling a light load. So I used 206.10 gallons used. So the price of fuel I paid was $581.20. I took all the fuel I bought on this trip and just averaged it out, and then you know, took gallons used, and then that's how I came up with my $581.20. So, you know, I grossed $4,000, spent $581 in fuel on that load. My next trip was from Sparks, Nevada to Kansas City, Kansas, Lenexa, Kansas. I deadheaded 18 miles. The line haul was 1,604 miles, a total of 1,622 miles. I made $3,700 on this. I booked this load through Total Quality Logistics. This load was a full load, weighed around 45,000 pounds. But I still got pretty good, decent fuel mileage on the load. I got 7.2 miles to the gallon. Used 225.27 gallons. My total cost of fuel here was $635.26. The final load, I got back to Kansas City. I was going to stay out. I was wanting to come home over the weekend, but then not really a breakdown. I'd been having problems with I thought it was a sensor on my on my coolant. The coolant alarm kept going off when the truck was idling, and it was full of coolant. So I figured it was a sensor. Finally, when I booked a load to go down to Oklahoma, a good paying load. So I was kind of upset I had to back out of it. It was shutting down my truck, so I went over to Kenworth, bought a sensor, replaced the sensor. The sensor didn't do anything. The guys told me I probably needed to replace the coolant tank. And so I basically sat around all day, spent $900, $500 on the coolant and tank and labor to get it in, spent about $900 on that. So then after that, I was kind of like, it's Wednesday or whatever. I kind of like doing long trips. I really can't go on a long trip, so I did a short trip and just came home. The last trip I did, it was a really short trip, Lenexa to Topeka, Kansas. I booked this load through Uber Freight. It paid $440. Deadhead was 10 miles, and the line haul was 60 miles. I averaged 5.7 miles to the gallon. It was a pretty light load, but kind of a short trip, so you don't get to, it's kind of hard to tell exactly the way the truck does. The longer you can run, it'll kind of even out. So the total fuel was 10.52 gallons. The cost of fuel was $29.66. I'll go through some of the places I stopped and bought fuel. I bought fuel at Little America there in Wyoming off of I-80. I bought 144 gallons. I don't have the average price on here. 144 gallons. Total was $388.47. I bought it through Mudflap. I got a 71-cent discount off of the fuel there. Sap Brothers in Denver, bought 64 gallons there, $177.28. I got that through Mudflap. It was a 36-cent discount. Salina, Kansas, 24/7 off of Crawford, 129 gallons. Spent a $362.38. I bought that through Mudflap. I got a 12-cent discount. Flying J outside of Reno. I bought 50 gallons just to get me kind of where I needed to go. The last 450 miles of that trip before I got into Reno was just desert, and there were no truck stops. So I finally got there, was kind of low. Thought I'd get some, maybe get out to where I can get some cheaper fuel. $155, 50 gallons, 155 gallons, 6.65. I got it through with my RTS card. I get a 12-cent discount at all Flying J and Pilots with that card. And then still about another 54 gallons at Flying J in Wells, Nevada. 54 gallon, $170.51, again 12-cent discount. And then at a 7-Eleven in Olathe, Kansas, I bought these last three with the RTS card. 144 gallon, spent $397.44 RTS. 37-cent discount there. My average fuel cost was $2.82. It kind of breaks down everything I did on that trip. Kind of like to talk a little bit about Mudflap. I've been saving a lot of money on Mudflap. I think it's really good. No fees, no annual fees, no fees charged to use the card. You just download the app. It's just an app. You put it on your phone. You put a credit card. You can either put a credit card, or it even has ways to use it as a debit card. If you use it as a debit card, you get another 2-cent discount. It's a growing it's a growing network. They keep growing. They kind of started in the middle of the United States and just have slowly been expanding. I think I've been using them for a little over a year, and I highly recommend it. You buy a lot of fuel, you're going to save some money on it. I've already saved over $1,200 in fuel at the price, over $1,200, the price of the pump in fuel, using it for over a year. It's going to save you fuel. I appreciate you guys watching On the Road with Big Al. Thank you.